1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
That's crazy how we all know that.
You know, Brevin, we've done 2 games now on television here in the last week, and there's one thing I realized. I need training camp. I'm sore.
Sore from what?
My feet are killing me.
Well, I mean, that has a little bit more. There's more than training camp because your feet are hurting.
One, having to go through the airport, having to fly with the commoners this week.
Oh, y'all should have seen him at the airport. It was absolutely ridiculous. He was such a little kid. Like you know when your child throws a tantrum and you're like, are you serious right now? I mean, the tantrum for him was we weren't flying private. Because we didn't fly with the team to start, we had to meet the team there, so we flew commercial. And because we flew commercial, this dude right here, he had to be calmed down in between flights. We flew 1 hour.
By the way, you people know that you can't fly from Memphis to Indianapolis? Did you know this?
You can't fly from Memphis to anywhere.
Oh my God.
So we fly to Charlotte.
That makes sense.
It was not an hour 10 flight. He gets off, he's like, oh, I can't, why do we have to do this? Like we sit there, people take too long, so many people. It's like, oh, you can't relax.
The people.
And then we fly another hour to Indianapolis. You would have thought that that he was being tortured in some way.
Yeah. Well, in between flights, we're with Pete Pranica and Scott Zachary, our producer, and they're running like we got to hurry to catch this plane. And I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, I guess I got to hurry. So I was scooting pretty good there for a while. And then we have the game in Indianapolis, and I wore uncomfortable shoes. I mean, I'm in my Skechers today. Shout out Skechers. And
those are old man shoes.
I'm in pain, man. A week of training camp really has done me in. So I need more camp. I need one more game Friday to get into game shape.
Or when you're at home and you know it's getting up to that time, just start wearing your shoes around.
Oh, why? They're miserable. But ladies, you know. Well, welcome to Night Court. I'm Rob Fisher. He's Brevin Knight. We thank you for tuning into the program. Don't forget you can watch the show each and every week as well on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. And you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. We thank you for listening. And you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at The Fish Nation. Brevin is at Brevin Knight 22 and the show as at Night Court 22. We have had a couple of games. We've seen the team play now. The other one, the Charlotte game, seems so far away that I don't even really want to talk about it. But last night in Indianapolis, before we get the game, I do have to say this, because we're going to talk about Zach Edey. And we're going to say great things about Zach Edey. I don't trust dudes who don't wear their warm-ups during warm-ups. Who in the warm-up layup line, he's wearing uniform. When he's introduced, you know, and the lights are out and everything, dude's wearing uniform. Those dudes are ready to play. Like when they come out of the locker room, they're ready to play. I mean, I'd be like, whoa, we got a few minutes still before we got to go. But no, not Zach Edey. He is in full gear, uniform. The sweats are off, the bottoms, the tops, everything gone. And he doesn't wear arm sleeves. He doesn't wear knee braces. He just comes out. It reminds me of batters in baseball that don't wear batting gloves. There's just something about it that makes you a different type of person. And Zach Edey, a no warm-up guy. Can you trust those people?
I've never paid attention to it.
Really?
I think that's going a lot more in depth than I would in terms of.
Well, there you go.
I didn't. If it helps them get off to a great start, don't put the uniform, don't put the warm up on. Just get right to it.
I mean, I don't know. It's just noticeable to me when I see guys who do that, because it's very rare that you see guys that don't have their warm up on when they're introduced.
Well, I think
to the game or in the layup line.
I think if it was more of a regular season game, honestly, before these games, I'm talking to everybody. I'm doing everything but paying attention to the layup line.
Right.
Especially when we have a pregame show, then
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the fact that I don't have to work right now.
That's right.
And I think the entire time while they were doing layups, I was eating ice cream yesterday. so I definitely don't remember.
Look for it next time.
I'm on it now.
You look for it because then you'll notice it and you'll
Okay.
say, "Wow, this is it's very interesting." But good for Zach Edey, coming ready to play. I like that, and he was ready to play at Indiana. Didn't start, but came off the bench and was super effective. The most action we've seen him involved in.
Yeah, I thought they made a concerted effort to get him the basketball, and what you like about it was he was able to get position and hold that position against Miles Turner, who is a high level defender as a big, and he also did it against Wiseman, who at least has the size and athleticism, and they didn't deter him at all, and so it was nice to see. Almost, it was a little bit of a throwback basketball because it was nothing fancy. He ran down, more times than not, he won the left block. They found him on the left block. He was able to get to the middle, the jump hook, nice touch on it. We even saw a little reverse spin with a two-hand slam that got even Petey and I excited because it was so quick, it came out of nowhere.
And here's another thing about Zach Edey. It got him to smile.
Oh, yes.
Okay, dude shows up to the gym in uniform. Dude don't smile.
No sweats.
He is a baller. The guy just wants to ball. That's it. That's all he wants to do is play and win. But that dunk got a little smile out of his face because he looked over at the bench and they were all up.
Rubbed his head. And I think after certain things happen, there is a 2-second reaction that he'll have, and then it's like back to work. Mm-hmm. So you got to catch it quick when it happens. But it was fun to watch him play and compete at that level against that talent. And so hopefully that's wonders for his talent, for his confidence, but also for the team to understand that this is something that we can look for time to time.
Yeah, and it had to be cool coming back to Indiana and playing basketball.
Big crowd too.
His college coach was there. So a lot of people that knew him, he had a lot of tickets out for that game. So that had to be kind of cool. What do you remember? When was the first time that you went home? Ever in college?
When I played in college, I went back and played at Seton Hall, and that was a lot of people to come to that game.
Was it fun or was it?
No, it was fun.
Nerve-wracking.
It was fun, but I didn't play well, so it also wasn't fun.
Right.
But that was whenever you get a chance to come back to an area and you have a following of some sort, or you played at a college that their following is as big as Purdue's was because of how well they had done, and especially when you're a player of the year for 2 times. It was good to see him be able to perform in front of them, and then the crowd, the people there. I had a chance to talk to Matt Painter, and the thing that he said that we're going to love about him is that he's always going to work. He's not that. So to the point of what you were just saying is he was saying it just in the basketball term. You were saying it just in looks and how he approaches the game. But I'm still intrigued to see how it all looks in the flow of what they'll want to do with everybody on the floor, and hopefully when they play against Miami, maybe we get to see more guys out playing.
We've seen Dez, which has been great. He had a game or two where he didn't shoot the ball very well, but I really didn't care. I'd get those out of the way now before the season starts. But what we did see in Indianapolis was downhill Dez, a heavy dose of downhill Dez.
Yeah, it was a nice mix, but the threes came after the getting to the basket, and so the way that he is continued to mature in terms of a scorer is going to pay dividends for the Grizzlies because they knew what Ja Morant's going to continue to bring. You like to have somebody that's next to him that can garner some type of respect or at least attention. And so Dez has done that, and he's also shown that in those times when guys are off the floor, I can carry the load. Yeah. And so in doing that, fall is coming. And so in doing that, it's been good to watch him continue to grow. But they're going to need for him to mix up his game. And so it was nice to see not relying on the three to get him going. He really relied on getting to the basket to get him going.
Gigi and Vince both out.
Yep.
Guys who are competing, I guess, for those two spots are who? Jitty, Jake, Jalen.
Yeah, I think more so Jake, Jalen. I think we all know what Jitty is.
Okay.
I think he knows. I think the one thing he wanted to get better at, he wanted to shoot the ball better. But you know what you're going to get from him.
Sure.
The other two were, well, what else? They got some more things to their game that they can do that can still benefit this team. And I think Jalen has been really good and good on both ends. And also he's been good in being able to show that it's not just the shooting from the perimeter, but put the ball on the floor, nice bounce. And I think Jake is just continuing to look like a guy who had time last year and has progressed.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's looked like he's progressed too, which has been good to see. Now, we're putting in this offense, but we haven't had our guys play, so that can't be easy.
Not easy at all, but and hopefully we're just not seeing them play, but they're still in practice.
Sure.
And while being in practice, is there some level of at least understanding the nuances, what they're trying to get, and then the couple of weeks that they were playing together, they were with coaches before things started. You kind of try to lean on that, but I think they would have liked to have been able to have the option to say guys aren't playing tonight because we're letting you rest over guys not playing because of an injury that we're trying to maintain at this point.
Right. Yuki Mania.
Oh, boy,
I was thinking, I don't know if you know this or not, but Yuki on Instagram has posted 10 times. His last post was him in a Grizzlies uniform.
Okay.
He's posted 10 times. He has 630,000 followers. I was thinking, I don't know if you agree with this or not, that we are going to title this show Yuki Kawamura. That's it. Just his name. See how many views we can get and see how many listens we can get, because that'll draw a lot of people. Dude's got 600,000 Instagram followers. Jake LaRavia said, yeah, he's pretty famous. I mean, he's got 600,000 Instagram followers. Apparently, what I've heard is Yuki, Yuta, you remember Yuta? And Yuta is a big deal in Japan, a big deal in Japan. Apparently, Yuki's a bigger deal in Japan because he's kind of like the Steph Curry of Japan. He's 5'8".
Yes.
We can relate to him.
Yes.
We can do what he does.
No, we can't.
Well, not us. I'm just saying the collective, the people.
I want the people to say, no, y'all can't do what he does. Just because you're the same size.
But they believe he can. They believe they can.
You can believe it, but I'm just telling you can't do it.
He's fun to watch, man. I like watching
fantastic. Yuki. I had the opportunity to watch in the Olympics. I saw him play in the Olympics, and then now, when I saw that we signed him, I was like, wow, this would be cool to see up close and in person how he plays the game. Because I always say when you look at guys of size that have had success, they know how to play the game in some way because they've mastered being successful while still not having the same height as everyone else. And so when you watch him play, he's just a ball of energy. The whole time he's on the floor, from the defensive pressure on one end, continue to stay into guys, to once the ball gets into his hand, he is always trying to get into the painted area. And then against Indiana, we saw the stroke start to go down because the thing that we've seen him just be more of a distributor. He's always been a scorer also.
Yeah.
And so to see him get into that rhythm, it was fun. It was fun to watch, and it was fun to see how involved or how much he pumps up everyone else. Like, there's always a story on a team where people become invested.
Coach loves the guy, teammates love him.
There's every year that story is perpetuated on every team, and it's always a feel good story. The thing what I always say why it can be feel good though is because the player is good in some way.
Yeah.
It's just, have you gotten a chance? Has it been the right opportunity? There are other factors. For him, it is, of course, his size is always going to be something that comes into play. But when he's been on the floor, he's been able to make a difference.
Yeah.
one, I want to see them be intentional about getting Dane Danger the basketball. I want to see that happen. I've heard so many good things about him in training camp, the weight he's lost, how he's moving around. He can be a connector of sorts, decent passer. He can put the ball on the ground. He can shoot from the mid-range a little bit. But with all of the talent he has, I don't think since the second half of the season with Jalen Duren, they've been very intentional about getting a natural big five the ball. So I want to see them be intentional about that off the jump. And then also I want to see their three-point shooting. Can Tyrese Hunter, PJ Haggerty, PJ Carter sort of supplement what Colby Rogers can do? You have Colby Rogers, who can be a knockdown 40% three-point shooter, but outside of that, you have a lot of guys that hover around 30 to 33%. You have to see who can supplement that type of shooting, because you're going to need it in the out of conference to take down a lot of these really good teams you're going to play.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I think Zach Edey played well. He got his fouls in. He got them in for sure. But we saw some flashes of really what he can do, whether that's setting screens or just whether blocking shots or just making guys change their mind about shots, or just affecting the quality of shots that guys were getting in the game. We saw that a lot. They gotta use him though, man. They gotta be able to find him a little bit.
I was about to say they especially the whole first quarter. It was like, because I think that lob that y'all had him, that was his first points of the game. So it was like the whole first quarter, I did peep that. It was like, I see everybody else attempting 5+ shots.
Right.
Y'all got to find a way to give Zach Edey something, like at some point. Everything was running well last night, right? The offense was flowing well. It's going to come a stretch of time where they're going to be stagnant. And at that time, that's when I expect them, okay, hey, let's run the post play to Zach Edey.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, I don't have a list this week, but I have questions. This is from CBSSports.com. Biggest question facing every team in the Southwest Division. Biggest question facing every team in the Southwest Division. Dallas Mavericks, all right? Is Klay Thompson the missing piece?
That's a fantastic question. And I think that he could be the missing piece that gets them an opportunity to be back in the Western Conference Championship. And that it gives them another person that takes another defender that has to at least account for him at some point on the floor. Now, the good thing is he has to accept because you go to a different situation, you have to accept the role that you become. When you're in your existing situation and your role starts to move you down the pecking order, for some people that hurts, and so it's hard for you to react.
Right.
But when you go to another team and there's already established situations and you have to now fit in, I tend to see guys start to be at a little bit more ease with where they are. And so I think that at ease gives them another fantastic chance at least getting back to the Western Conference Final.
Houston Rockets. Who does Houston want to build around? Şengün and Jalen Green are both eligible for rookie max extensions right now. Jabari Smith is eligible for one next summer. Are they going to pay them all?
I don't think they're going to pay them all. Unfortunately, I think it has to be, you look at it and say, maybe it's going to be one of those bigs. Even though they play different games, I like Şengün. I think he's got talent. I don't know how much further he goes from where he is right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think we're seeing what you're going to see from him. And then you look at Jabari Smith, you're like dude can. If there's I don't see him enough. If there's a big want in him then there's a super upside to what he can be able to do.
Yeah.
Jalen Green, I mean, that's just you see what the talent is can you harness it to play in the right way at the right time? But in terms of like skill, athleticism, all that you would like in a 2 guard that sometimes can play the 1, he has it. So I think it's.
Are they ready to be a surprise team?
I think because they got Ime at the top, and then they have Fred VanVleet on the floor, then I think it puts them. And they are Dylan. Like you know how much I love Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
I think that with Udoka as the head coach, that they can at least keep him with all of that energy going in the right direction for a long enough time.
Right. Pelicans. Zion Williamson. Can he have his best year?
I mean, every year the year starts off for Zion, you can say yeah, because he's almost unstoppable when he's going. It's just really stay healthy. But I think with getting DeJounte Murray,
Mm-hmm.
I think that alleviates a little. Like I think it just alleviates a little bit more of the pressure. It gives him the movement of the ball. He gets it in different positions now. But I've yet to see it consistent enough to.
Why do they not want Brandon Ingram?
I don't know. I like Brandon. Again, I think that's one of those like you got to be around. Is there something else that we don't know or we don't see?
Yeah.
Because you see the player that is, you know what he's capable of doing. But then the other thing, sometimes people, I always say in our league, people a lot of times just need a new scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you start getting
Klay Thompson.
Exactly. It was time for him to go.
Yeah. Spurs. What will Wemby do next?
I told you. I think he's going to progress because he has Chris Paul out on the floor with him. They have the organization but they needed somebody on the floor to continue to help him get better. And I think Chris Paul can help him get better. And so the skill will continue to be there. I thought it was fun to see him in the Olympics play also in France and see how he would play with that caliber all on the team playing against others. And he doesn't take a step back. He took a big shot, made big plays, and so I think he just takes another jump this year.
Yeah, it's going to be frightening. It's going to be funny to see him against Edey with that size. Because last year, looking at Wemby, I thought there was no one his size.
It's going to be.
But Zach Edey is.
That's going to be. It'll be a tough matchup for Zach on the defensive side.
Oh yeah.
It'll be a tough matchup just because with how far out on the floor Wemby likes to play, but then how good and shifty he is off of the dribble, and have to deal with it time and time and time again. I think will put Zach in tough positions.
For the Grizzlies, they say, can the Grizz pick up where they left off? Says Memphis used to be the belle of the ball, with Ja Morant viewed as the future American face of the league. And then last year happened. It's not exactly what it said, but the next paragraph that's what it meant. Yeah, I mean that's the big thing. That's the expectation. That's the hope that you pick up where you were 2 years ago when you were contending in the Western Conference. That's your expectation going into this season, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be.
I say nothing different for this Grizzlies team. That why shouldn't they? As I said for Dallas, in terms of competing, you made some changes, you made additions. The only thing for the Grizzlies is you made changes and additions of getting guys back to health status.
Right.
That's what changed for your team. And then now with Edey coming in and Jalen Wells coming in and doing what he's doing and getting, but it's pretty much instead of changing with players getting from another team, you're just hoping to get your guys back healthy enough on a regular basis to be able to have the same run. And it puts them in the same category of, they have a legit opportunity to be a Western Conference Finals team and then go from there. It's just the thing in the Western Conference, there's so many teams that have that same argument.
Yeah, no doubt. But you got to be one of those teams.
It's nice. The good thing is it's nice to be in the conversation.
Absolutely.
Of one of those teams.
No doubt. Paul George hyperextends his knee.
It did not look good at all.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
It was one of those like, and when you play and you're someone that's been around in any sport,
Makes you rub your knee.
it just like that's exact. When I saw it the first time, I was like, oh no, and then they wanted to show it again. I'm like, I don't need, you know, like.
No.
So hopefully, I haven't seen any reports of anything. Hopefully, it's nothing significand.
Yeah.
He's
do what Ja did at the end of the Dallas game. I'm done. See y'all when the season starts.
Yes, because he's these last 4 or 5 years, injuries have just been in abundance for him.
Yeah. You know, the Philadelphia 76ers, they always like to have a process, if you will. They have a plan to keep, speaking of injured all the time, a plan to keep Joel Embiid healthy. When asked about the plan, Embiid said, if I had to guess, I would probably never play back-to-backs the rest of my career.
I saw that.
Wow.
It puts your team in jeopardy of, like, there's some rules that say like how and when you can sit guys.
Right.
But when your players just start saying like, well, pretty much I'm not gonna play back-to-backs.
That's 15 games. 15.
And so I know that's one of the things that the league wanted to guard against, were guys just not playing.
To get any of the league awards or any of those things, you have to play 65 games, 15 back-to-backs. If you didn't play any back-to-back, that'd be down to 67.
So he would be banking on the fact that
he's going to play every game
other than those, and not get hurt or get injured, or I just don't care about those postseason awards.
Yeah, I just understand. I understand the whole if you don't play, you can't get hurt, but
man, the whole getting hurt thing, we have gone so overboard with the getting hurt. Getting hurt is a part of sports,
and it happens, and you can't avoid it.
It happens. Like it's going to, like, you can do the best that you can to not get hurt. Get as strong as you can. Eat the right way. Do everything you can. Freak shit happens.
Yeah.
Like we just saw it with John Morant running down the floor. Somebody threw a bounce pass. The ball hits his foot. Now, it wasn't severe that it didn't go all the way over. But how about if it did? It went, like, so then what could you have done to stop that? What type of exercise?
Well, and the perfect example of that is not only that one, but every injury John Morant has had in his career so far, and I still hear people say, he's got to stop being such a high flyer. He's going to get hurt. He's going to get hurt, the way that he flies around the basket, and he's been hurt in his career. He's never gotten hurt at the basket.
Right.
Never.
Right, exactly.
Not one of his injuries have happened at the basket. Not one of them. So, again, they can happen anywhere on the floor. They can happen during practice. They're part of sports, and it's championship teams, winning teams, generally are very healthy to go along with playing very well.
You're exactly right.
But health is a big part of doing it and winning a championship, and you can't. I said it last week to you. You can't baby guys. That's how you get hurt, is 100%. Babying people.
Yeah, 100. And I said, I already talked about training camp, how short it is.
Yeah.
Doesn't give you a real chance to get your body ready for it. But after that, the thing you try to do is cover up as best you can by having as deep of a basketball team as you can have. And then you cross your fingers that if injuries happen, they don't happen all at one time.
Right.
For your major guys. Like, if one guy has to be out, then hopefully your other guys can be healthy and play. And then he comes, and then somebody, you just don't want it to be a snowball. Last year was a snowball for this basketball team. But at the end of the day, injuries happen. You are not stopping them.
No.
There's no formula for stopping injuries.
Mm-mm. I mean, and their argument would be, well, if you don't play, you won't get hurt. Well, yeah.
But then when you do play, so you may get hurt and you miss the games, you put our team in jeopardy of not winning games to be in a position to be in a good seeding because we didn't want you to get hurt. But then you did play the games and maybe you didn't play well. So now you lessen the amount of games you can't play well and the amount of games that you can get a mistake or an accident, something that gets you hurt happens. To me, it makes no sense. The entire argument, it just makes no sense.
WNBA series tied at 1 game apiece. My girl got the big basket at the end of game 1. What is her name? Williams.
You like the little point guard.
Carolyn Williams? I don't remember her first name. It begins with a C. but she got the big basket at the end. That was a
Number
huge,
10.
huge basket. Yep, and her dad's always in attendance, sitting in the front row with the jersey on. It's fantastic.
The good thing is for this, you know why this works good for me? Because I don't remember names for the NBA guys. And you know me, I know everyone's number. Like you start saying the person, and I know their numbers.
Yeah.
And so it's the same for the WNBA.
Yeah.
It's like I can tell you all the numbers, kind of what they do, but I couldn't name. No way.
No, and then the Liberty come back in game 2 and had a nice performance. As we've said before, they're really good. And now it goes to Minnesota for game 3.
Yeah, and the thing I was really surprised that we talked about it before the series started. We talked saying that Minnesota was going to have to stand up to New York's physicality because the Liberty are just a bigger, more physical team. And in game 1, they came out and they made the plays necessary, had some breaks go their way down the end of the game. But it was fun to see them battle that way. And then even in game 2, they battled, kept themselves, got down early, got right back into the basketball game, and then down the stretch is just, it's just one run. And the Liberty made the run, and they have so many good people. And now it was Breonna Stewart who came out with the fantastic. I think she had like 7 steals in that game to go. I think like 25 plus rebounds, 5 plus assists, 5 plus steals. She was literally everywhere during that game.
NFL had to enjoy Detroit pounding Dallas in the fashion that they did, right?
Did we?
Yeah, that
all
was
of us
exciting.
loved that. And then we just hated the freaking Giants giving away a game. I'm tired of
I bet the Giants.
Let me tell you as much, and then we can move on. But I am tired of, people say, well, at least they're playing good. Bro, when you've been asked for so long, you get no more grace of, oh, well, we were close right there.
Good job, good effort.
No, and when you're in the NFL, you need game changers. Bro, like our quarterback is a game manager. That's what he is. Cam Newton said this whole thing. That's what he's very good at. That's why you got to put really good people around him.
Right.
One of those really good people you should have paid so that he could be around them. That's just kicking behind and right down 95 in Philadelphia. Like maybe put more of those people and stop being so much into yourself in management and put the people on the field to help the quarterback who's just good enough. Help him be better. I'm tired of they were close like this. I'm tired of it. I'm over it. They got no grace. I'm done with the grace with this organization.
Yeah, the Jets lost too. That was kind of fun.
I root hard for that, especially when they fired the coach.
Yeah.
Every team that plays against the Jets, I'm like, let's go.
But your Mets tied up with the Dodgers at a game apiece.
Oh,
Let's go Mets. Subway Series upon us. Yankees leading their series with Cleveland.
It's knocking on the door. And the thing with the Dodgers is... Uh-oh. You know what that means?
That means wrap it up, BK. Hold on.
That's the old sign to say we've reached the limit. But no, it would be so much fun to be able to have a Subway Series. And then my 2 best friends I got one that's the Yankees and one that's Mets. So
they can duke it out.
They'll enjoy it. But it's just been fun to watch this ride for the Mets. Lose 9-0. Like, do you think that maybe this magic may run out and the Dodgers been playing so good? And they're like, yeah, whatever. Take this grand slam.
Well, Lindor leads off with a bomb.
Take this. We're fine. Just okay.
My son, who is 9, he has started to watch The Simpsons.
Oh, no.
It's the first thing that when my son sits down and wants to watch like 8 straight hours, I'm like, yeah, I'll sit down and watch with you for a while. I mean, so I'm so excited that he's finally watching something that I'm excited about watching.
How crazy is The Simpsons?
Because I haven't watched The Simpsons in forever.
That's the thing about The Simpsons. You can stop watching it forever, and it's still on when you come back.
And watch whatever episode you want. You can watch one from 10 years ago or 5 years ago or last week. It doesn't matter.
How about this? There's still new episodes.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty amazing. So I'm very excited about watching The Simpsons.
And everybody's the same age, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Lisa's still sucking on the...
On the pacifier?
Pacifier, yeah. Not Lisa. Lisa. No, not Lisa.
Maggie.
Maggie. Maggie's still sucking on the pacifier.
Maggie.
Lisa's still smart.
I was say Maggie.
Yeah. Hug or
who?
Toast.
Try to get hugs.
I was going to give hugs. But we'll keep it toast because shout out and toast to Caitlin Clark.
I knew this was coming.
Not only did Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell just show, Kelsey Mitchell, by the way, averaged just under 20 a game this year for the Fever. She's no slouch herself. Her and Caitlin Clark just moved on into the Grizzlies game last night. Came, sat first row, enjoyed themselves. And shout out to them and a toast to them because Caitlin Clark, she did not leave until there were 48 seconds left in the game. Whoo, I would have gone a lot earlier than that, Caitlin. So shout out to you and toast. Yeah, so shout out to Caitlin Clark and to Kelsey Mitchell, and toast to them.
I'm you know me, I'm shout out Buc-ee's again.
Shout out Bucky.
I was in Colorado with my buddies, and I went and played golf, and didn't know it was there, but driving to the course, me and my golf buddy Moody, we went by and we driving, saw a Buc-ee. I was like, oh, you know where we're going when we get done with the round.
Got to stop.
Went over there and got a new one. I didn't have this before. The Texas cheesesteak burrito. Oh. Fantastic.
Really?
I mean, of course,
Sounds
the
great.
brisket was so good. And then they have the peach cobbler too. So, and then got some almonds. You know, you gotta get the almonds.
Right.
And then they have this honey lemonade. I never had that before.
Ooh.
I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm a fan. So yeah, shout out Buc-ee's
Shout out
in
Buc-ee's.
Johnstown, Colorado.
Shout out Bucky.
They
Bucky the
let
Beaver.
me get this shirt.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us here on this edition of Night Court. Thank you much for joining us. If you're listening, thank you. Continue to listen, but you can also watch. I heard a friend of B-Dub came up to me yesterday, and he says, or 2 days ago, and he said, I just learned that I can watch the podcast on video.
Oh, I get it all the time. There's so many. I get so many people is like, oh, somebody just told me I can watch it now.
That means,
know what I get?
That means people are turning the show off before the end.
Here's the other thing I'm getting now. It's like this. Oh, you do a podcast? This is like from like family members.
Come on, man. All right, so those of you listening, you can also watch at the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Just search Night Court, and you can watch the podcast. But we thank you for listening as well. And if you're listening, you can, as you know, you can catch this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. For BK, I'm Fish. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again next week, right here on Night Court.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Night Court podcast. If you enjoyed Rob and Brevin, hit that like button, subscribe to the Bluff City Media YouTube channel, and enjoy the content. We will see you back here next time.